Somewhere in the Amazon rainforest, there's a stadium that seats 42,000 people. It cost $300 million to build. It hosted 4 World Cup matches in 2014. And then it sat empty, now hosting weddings and children's parties to cover its $250,000 monthly maintenance bill. It's too expensive to maintain, too remote to fill, too embarrassing to demolish. Brazil 2014 cost $15 billion. South Africa 2010, $6 billion. Qatar 2022, a staggering $220 billion. And yet, right now, the 2026 World Cup is happening across the US, Canada, and Mexico with a price tag already past $14 billion. So, is hosting the World Cup ever actually worth it? Let's find out. Every host government makes the same promises. Hundreds of thousands of tourists, tens of billions in economic activity, jobs, infrastructure, global attention. For 2026, FIFA and its partners projected $80 billion in global economic impact. Bank of America estimated $17 billion for the US alone, and 184,000 jobs created. But sports economists have found 3 problems that keep showing up every World Cup, which significantly lower the profits. First, World Cup visitors don't just add to a country's tourism, they replace it. Business travelers reschedule. Regular tourists go elsewhere, already decreasing income for the host country. Second, a local family spending money at a match isn't spending that money at a restaurant. The money moves around the economy rather than being added to it. Third, every single World Cup has cost more than projected. Brazil estimated it cost $1.1 billion for their stadiums and eventually spent $3.6 billion. Qatar went from $65 billion to $220 billion. The overrun is not the exception, it's the rule. The most visible symptom of this pattern is the White Elephant Stadium. For the 2014 World Cup, Brazil built 12 stadiums at a cost of over $3.6 billion, most of them in cities with no professional football teams and no realistic way to fill a 40,000-seat venue after the tournament ended. So these stadiums now have to improvise to try to cover the cost of maintenance, like the Arena Amazonia in Manaus, now hosting weddings and children's parties, and the Estadio Nacional in Brasilia, at $900 million, the most expensive stadium in Brazilian history, which is now used as a car park for buses. South Africa 2010 followed a similar pattern. $6 billion spent, half the expected tourists, and stadiums underused for years. Meanwhile, FIFA collected $3.65 billion from the same event. And then the most crazy example is Qatar, $220 billion. 8 new stadiums, a new metro, a new airport, entirely new cities, for 64 games of football in a country of 3 million people. The clearest example of the white elephant phenomenon. But there are winners too. Germany 2006 and France 1998 are the 2 cases where hosting genuinely paid off. And for the same reason. There was no need to build major new infrastructure since both were already wealthy, developed nations with existing stadiums and strong institutions. Germany used the tournament to shift its global image, from stiff and formal to warm and world-class, and saw tourism grow for years afterwards. France rode a wave of national confidence after winning on home soil, which helped France's economy out of a recession. The uncomfortable truth is that the World Cup works as an economic tool for countries that already have strong foundations. It almost never works as a shortcut to development for countries that don't. So, is 2026 any different than Brazil or Qatar? Yes, the US, Canada, and Mexico already have world-class stadiums. Renovation costs are under $1 billion, a fraction of what Qatar or Brazil spent. MetLife, SoFi, AT&T Stadium, these venues have NFL teams filling them every week. The white elephant risk is pretty much non-existent. But the FIFA revenue model hasn't changed at all. FIFA collects $9 billion, television rights, sponsorships, and now ticket revenue too, which host cities no longer share in. Instead, the 16 host cities get a $100 to $200 million bill consisting of all the costs needed to run the World Cup smoothly. So the fundamental problem hasn't changed. The organization collecting $9 billion isn't the one paying $14 billion to make it happen. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light is the long-term vision, the 19-economics. But that's a bet on the next decade, not the next quarter. So is hosting the World Cup worth it? Yes, but only for countries that already have the stadiums and infrastructure to begin with. And these countries need to have more reasons to host it than purely the financial ones, because the financial gains rarely justify the cost. The tourism numbers disappoint, the costs overrun, and although 2026 is better structured than Qatar or Brazil, the fundamental model, where FIFA profits and host cities get the bill, hasn't changed. On July 19th, somewhere in New Jersey, the World Cup final will be played to a packed stadium, and somewhere in a FIFA boardroom, $9 billion in revenue will be quietly counted. The beautiful game comes at a cost. The question is always, who's actually paying it?